So first of all, what you just said, I think, is a very Western view.
News this year on the streets ask, how many genders are there?
In my opinion, two.
Two? Wow, you're not progressive.
I feel like my generation, unfortunately, is very soft.
Multiple, it's fluid. Sex and gender is fluid.
I would say there's two genders.
Two genders?
I would believe the same.
Seems to be a lot of confusion.
It's expanding.
Why do you think it's expanding?
I don't think it's expanding. I believe other people believe it's expanding.
Roughly maybe like 5 years ago, I feel like it started to get more and more popular to say, oh, well, I'm a they.
Like in other cultures, there's been more diverse approaches to gender for a long time. So there's been multiple genders, like a kind of almost a distinct third gender in India.
The Hijra are a unique group of people in India who don't identify as male or female. They've been a significant part of Indian culture for more than 4,000 years.
When do you think it all started where, I guess, the idea of more genders?
I do think gender has always been a social construct, although it's been viewed as something more like affirming than that, I feel like.
When I was a young kid, I'd never heard of lacrosse. That doesn't mean lacrosse isn't a sport just because you're not aware of it.
So I'm a professor at NC State, and I definitely think that the conversation surrounding gender and more than just binary gender has been picking up, especially in the last couple of decades.
Do you think, I guess, like college campuses, maybe it spawned from that, maybe like gender studies, or like, say, the professor we talked to earlier who I guess believes in this, do you think it's like taught to, college students, and then they're like, oh, there's more than two now, like it's do you think more of an indoctrination?
I guess that would depend on how a college student mind is set up.
Yes, I feel that way. I feel like is more so taught because, especially when it gets to like the elementary schools, like with kids, and they're telling them, oh, you don't have to be a boy or a girl.
Well, there's like certain people that are born like, it's very rare, but they do have both parts. So I guess that's
Hermaphrodite, right?
Just say what gender is that wolf and I'll pan to it.
You'll do what?
Say what gender the wolf is and I'll pan to it.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Okay. Hey, what's up? Don't forget to like and subscribe. And what gender is that wolf? Webster's dictionary pinpointed it as
Gender is how you identify and how you personally feel. Because we are sentient and conscious beings, we're able to express our feelings, so we can choose our gender.
Looking up.
the definition of sex. And some people say, gender is different than sex. Then you look up the definition of sex, and sex refers back to the two genders. Definition of sexual orientation.
And then even sex with like XY chromosomes and stuff like that, that's all still fluid because I have testosterone and I have estrogen in me, and you have estrogen and testosterone in you. So there's different levels. All of that is not black and white. There's always a spectrum to everything about it.
Like going back to like the XY chromosome thing, let's just hypothetically, there's a dead body found. How do we identify that?
Yes, so that is just in that scientific, I have to figure out what's this person's gender for whatever documentation reasons, but if that person was alive, then I should give them the respect of them choosing what they want to identify.
What's your major?
Wildlife and conservation biology.
So would that even be separate, as in animal gender?
Yeah, I don't think they have gender because I think it's an entirely human thing. It doesn't exist, and it's just completely biological there. And yeah, I think it's just
so animal gender is, I guess, more of a fact-based thing, where gender for humans would be open up the door for more genders, is what you're trying to say?
I don't even think animals have a gender. Yeah. I think it's just sex. Because I think, again, gender is something we've created, and they don't have that, it doesn't have a social role.
I think that gender is a continuum. There's a spectrum, so it's definitely not binary. There's a range.
Would it be sexual orientation?